Hello, and welcome to another video with your Otter. This time we're gonna watch the second part of the Punic Wars. The second Punic Wars, of course. In the last one, Hannibal crossed the Alps with his army, and, well, not many survived. So let's see how this keeps going, because we want to see if Rome fell, but I don't think it will. So let's just go right in.
Hannibal's army had survived its famous crossing of the Alps, and he was now in Italy. With Hannibal's arrival, the Roman consul Scipio hit the ground running. In typical Roman fashion, he marched his army straight at the enemy, and Hannibal began preparing for his first combat with Rome on Italian soil. Before the battle, Hannibal wanted to inspire his men, so he staged a gladiatorial death match between captured Celt prisoners, with the winner getting prizes and freedom. He then explained that the whole thing was a metaphor.
I would die for this man.
Metaphor? For what? You! These warriors are you! You're trapped in Italy with no escape. Your only choice now is to fight and win. What about the dead guy? That's you if you don't win. And the prizes? That's what you stand to gain by winning. And
That's a very good argumentation. Basically, bro, you have no choice. You better do that, or, you die. So, have at it.
The fact that I've soiled myself in all this excitement? No, that's not part of the metaphor.
Oh, that would also kind of be me.
Okay, Hannibal also
but more out of
fear. Again.
Oh no, not goat!
Scipio, on the other hand, now arriving in the area, opted for the more classic route of a rousing pre-battle speech. Look at them, men. Weak, starved by the Alps, while we are the strongest military in the world. This will be easy, like 10,000 horse-sized ducks fighting a baby-sized baby. It'll be like Mike Tyson in his prime, kicking a baby. A tug-of-war between 10 sumo wrestlers. And
he recently kicked a baby, but the baby apparently kicked him.
Baby. The point is, there is absolutely no possible way we could lose a battle this easy.
And then they lost it, is what I would assume from this foreshadowing.
So, if everybody's ready, on my mark,
going good. Going very good. Oh no! Who could have seen that?
The Battle of Ticinus was over almost as soon as it had begun, as the Romans found themselves completely outmatched by Hannibal's famed lightning-fast Numidian cavalry, a key element in Hannibal's devastating double
finally the Carthaginians finally know how to use them.
Wounded. Thankfully, according to some ancient writers, his handsome 17-year-old son, Scipio the Younger, saw his father fall. Scipio the Younger supposedly saved his father, and in the process, earned himself a lot of daddy's kisses. The Romans ended...
Yeah, I'm not a very big historian, but I think he will be very important later, because I think he is the reason why Hannibal will fall, or not succeed. I'm pretty sure that's like dangerous half knowledge, but I think that's where this is gonna go. I think that's what I heard.
Ended up fleeing the area, destroying the bridge behind them as they went. For a nation so overtly confident in victory, believing Hannibal to be an easy kill, the Romans found themselves running away with their tail between their legs.
Yeah, and on their home soil.
Was humiliating. And you know who thought so as well? The Celts. They began flocking to Hannibal's side, just as he'd hoped. Even Celtic troops fighting for Rome in the Roman camp began to reconsider. Man, I'm thinking we should try to join Hannibal. I hear you. Maybe we should bring him a gift. What do you think he'd like? Oh, I know. Hey, Hannibal. We want to join your side, and we brought you a present.
I wonder what it is.
For me? I hope it's Roman heads. Oh, please. Oh, please be Roman heads.
Oh, it's Roman heads.
How did you know? Running away from Hannibal was humiliating enough, but having dozens of Romans beheaded in the night, now that's embarrassing. to
So just, I mean, I get that you can kill someone silently, but I mean, how did they do that? Without waking anyone? Doesn't that make sound when you... I honestly, I don't want to know. This is a question best left
Punic
unanswered.
had been a relatively small battle, but the psychological impact it had early on was huge, and it was only just a taste of what Hannibal was capable of. Despite the shocking initial loss, however, Rome still didn't seem to fully understand the danger posed by the monster now loose in their territory. The Senate was full of excuses. It's those traitorous Celts. That's why we lost. Yeah, and it was a
Of
cavalry
course,
battle.
yeah.
Wait until Hannibal faces our almighty
It's not our own
legions.
fault, no.
And our consul was bold. Once he faces our other fully follicled consul, then he'll really pee his pants. That other consul, Longus, had been in the south all this time, preparing to invade Africa. He had seen some success, even capturing Malta. But then he heard the news. Hannibal's in Italy? And I'm being ordered home? But I was gonna be the big boy. I was gonna invade Carthage and win the war.
Yeah, it doesn't
You
look
can
like
be
it.
A big boy at home. No! Does somebody need a nap, sir? No! No! And so Longus brought his army on the long journey north.
Not gonna lie,
When he
that's
arrived in the
kind of
area
me.
to decisively neutralize Hannibal, the two consuls joined their forces together, creating a double consular army. But the two consuls weren't exactly on the same page. Having a nice rest there, old man? I'm wounded, Longus. Pathetic. You don't understand. He's more dangerous than we thought. Maybe for you. Whoops. Listen, we can't just march straight at him like we normally do. We need to train our men through the winter, and we'll try again in spring. Sorry, I don't take advice from a bowling ball. Hey, I'll kick your ass, Longus. Any day now. I'm coming. Just you wait.
Oh, no.
Scipio, you feeble
Rising up
old man.
menacingly.
Scipio was apparently quite cautious after his recent encounter with Hannibal, while Longus, typically Roman, couldn't wait to give Hannibal a swirly.
Yeah, he's still the
Would get
aspiring
their way.
goal-getter.
Well, when two consuls joined their forces, it turned out the Romans had an interesting system in place. They would each take turns being the one in charge. Consul 1 would lead one day, then Consul 2 the next. Back and forth, back and forth.
That
As
sounds
you can
like a
imagine, when
very
the two
ineffective
consuls didn't
system.
agree, things didn't go so well. In this case, due to Scipio's injury, Longus probably assumed even more command than normal. Hannibal had Celtic spies in the Roman camp. He fully understood the Roman system and Longus's hot-headed nature, and he knew he could exploit it. For goodness sake! What's wrong, sir? I'm trying to order some pizza, but I keep getting fed all these personalized ads about
Oh
being a
no,
hothead.
that sounds like a
I'm not
sponsor.
hothead, am I? No, sir. Look at this. Butt insurance? Who would buy butt insurance? Yeah, that sounds
What will it-
really
what will
stupid.
it be?
Sir, it seems
Ooh,
like a lot of data
such
brokers have
sheets.
collected data on you. They could sell that data
Will
to
it be
Hannibal.
incogn- no, not
But
incognito.
Don't worry.
Is it
because
incognito?
You can get rid of that data with today's wonderful sponsor, Incognito.
Oh, I knew it.
I've been getting at you for some time to protect your personal data online. But you're a nimwit, aren't you? You didn't do it, did you?
Yes.
Typical. And now would you look at that? Tons of data brokers have collected a heck of a lot of your personal data and might sell it to third parties like advertisers or insurance companies without you even knowing. Ever wonder where
No.
Sally from the Butt Insurance Company got your name, number, address, social security number, and favorite color from? Probably a dirty data broker.
Damn, I
Could
was
you
already
mistakenly
wondering that.
Contact the hundreds of brokers that have our data and politely ask them to delete it. That process would only take the average human about 3,000 years. And that's why you need
That's a lot of time.
Incogni. I was shocked to find how many data brokers Incogni had tracked, potentially selling my data. But all I had to do was create an Incogni account, give them permission to work on my behalf, then sit back and let them do all the hard work for me. And since these data brokers don't stop there, Incogni will continuously work to keep my data safe with an annual plan. So if you want to protect your personal data too, go to incogni.com/oversimplified to get an exclusive 60% off an annual Incogni plan.
Well, that certainly sounds like a nice deal.
Oversimplified.
I mean, I don't use the
And
service
as
myself,
always,
but you
you'll
know,
be supporting my
I don't
channel.
have ads
So
myself,
thank you.
so
Now,
Take
where
that.
were we? Oh yeah,
Not my sponsor.
Roman heads,
And I have no
a
idea.
double consular army, and a hothead. Hannibal needed to keep smashing the Romans in battle in order to maintain the loyalty of the Celts, and so he was eager to fight another battle. The combined Roman force possibly outnumbered him, so he carefully crafted a clever trap, and he made sure to spring it while Longus was still in charge. The plan began with his army getting an early night's sleep. All right, boys, time for lights out.
Aww.
Sorry, but we got a big day ahead of us. Tomorrow,
Damn.
we're gonna massacre the Romans.
Well, that sounds
Good night,
fun.
boys. Dream of revenge. Gorzog, send out.
Oh, I didn't know he has orcs.
That night, Hannibal's Numidian cavalry made their way over to the Roman camp, arriving just before dawn. Hey, Romans! Wakey, wakey! What's going on? Hey, Longus, your butt smells like a butt. It does not! Scipio, awaken the troops! Longus, these playground insults are clearly meant to lure you out. Well, it's working! Send out the troops! Longus, it's clearly a trap, and I'm falling for
Nah,
it! Send
I'm
out the
sure it's
troops!
fine.
Hey guys, wake up. You're heading out for battle. What? But we haven't had breakfast. We're skipping breakfast!
What? No
Think you can do
breakfast?
that. As the Romans hurried out of camp, the Numidians began luring them back to the Carthaginian camp, where these gentle angels were just awakening from their slumber. Eat up, boys. We're having pancakes.
Oh, what a nice
While the
breakfast.
Carthaginians were enjoying
This man
their
is
hearty
certainly a
breakfast,
good guy to
the
follow.
starving Romans were still on their way. Hurry up! We have to catch those Numidians. Hey, why have you stopped marching? Longus, there's a freezing river in front of us. Well, get your gluteus maximus in the water!
Nice to wake
All
up.
right, boys, time to lather up. This oil will insulate you from the cold. It also
Even
smells like
nicer to
lavender.
wake up.
There's the Carthaginian camp. Get ready to fight, men. Sir, I think the water from the river is beginning to ice over. I can't move. Oh, I'm sorry. You thought war would be fun? Sitting around a nice hot campfire playing Truth or Dare with your friends? Welcome to the real world! Truth. Who do you like?
Well, then I guess those guys are not living in the real world.
Hey, look, guys. The Romans are here. Having perfectly orchestrated events so that his enemy was cold, tired, and hungry, while his men were well rested and covered in oil. When the two sides engaged one another, the Romans were in no condition to fight. And the cherry on top, the previous night, Hannibal had sent out an elite force of men led by his brother to go and hide behind a bush. They suddenly sprung out, encircling the exhausted Romans, who were then cut to pieces.
Well, that
Once
sucks
again,
for the Romans.
Hannibal's superior cavalry and double envelopment tactics had flummoxed the Romans. But the key word at Trebia was control. Hannibal used his intel on the enemy and the environment of the battlefield to carefully control the conditions of battle, creating lots of little advantages for himself that paved the way to success. And concealing troops for an ambush? All of these things are what make Hannibal the genius he's remembered as today.
He is
As
certainly
for
a good
Longus,
leader.
He managed to escape the battlefield with a small number of troops. Disgraced, he didn't want the Senate to find out what had happened, and he began obscuring communications back to Rome. Longus, where have you been? We've been looking for you. Nowhere in particular. Longus, 30,000 men are missing. Do you know where they are? They're taking a bath. 30,000 men? All in a bath?
That's a
Yes.
very big
Longest
lake.
What's under that rug? Aurora Borealis? Aurora Borealis?
What?
Oh, well, that's my consulship over. Good luck with Hannibal. Bye. Trebia. had
That's
been a
one way to
disaster
handle
for
it,
the
I would say.
Romans. And as even more Celts began flocking to Hannibal, Rome largely lost its control over Cisalpine Gaul. In Rome, complacency turned to alarm. Hannibal had outwitted them on their own soil and inflicted a costly defeat. But with that, Scipio and Longus's terms as consul were over. They were replaced with two new consuls, Servilius and Flaminius. The Romans may now have begun to realize
Just by looking at the design, I feel like Servilius is not as important. because he just has a normal design, and I forgot the other guy's name. Damn it! But at least he has a design, so I feel like he's important. But he also kind of looks like a hothead. So let's see where that goes.
Is the trouble they were in, and the genius Hannibal had shown in invading Italy. The Romans had expected to be the ones controlling this war. Remember, they thought they were going to invade Carthage. Now their plans lay in ruins, and they were levying 11 new legions to deal with the threat. Hannibal had completely redefined the war. But Hannibal had a little problem of his own. Things had gone well so far, but the Celts were notoriously fickle, and Hannibal needed to ensure he maintained their alliance and his base of support in Italy. Any Celts he captured fighting for Rome, he treated extremely well and allowed them to return to their homes. But the longer he hung around in their territory, eating all their food and leaving beard trimmings in their sinks, the more resentful they may become. They wanted to go south. And
yeah, I feel like the big burly men, they have other goals.
Other Italian allies in the south to his side. So from here, the path was clear. Hannibal had to move south. Just one problem. There were two main routes Hannibal could take to move south. And wouldn't you know it, that's exactly where the two new Roman consuls had taken fortified positions. If Hannibal tried to move on them, he'd be fighting from a disadvantaged position and could be bottled in. There is a third option.
Yeah, we could just go left.
We could move through this vast impassable marshland flooded with dirty, stinky, disease-infested water that at times would come up to our necks. But there's no way we would attempt that, right? That'd be crazy, right?
Nah, I'd do it.
Hannibal? Hannibal's 4-day trek across
And
the
so does he.
marshlands was hell on earth. Almost as crazy as when he crossed the Alps. Imagine 3 full days, unable to sit or lie down, because there's nowhere to sit or lie down. Meaning 4 full days without sleep, slugging through heavy mud. You contract cholera, your foot falls off, and Jim Bob
Awesome.
directly in front of you won't stop pooping in your path. In fact, everybody's pooping in your path. Some
Wow.
delirious, sleepless men would see clumps of mud and say, "Man, I could just sink into that." And then they would. When pack animals died, it gave nearby men a chance to rest, but only for a few moments before they were whipped back into line. Even Hannibal himself couldn't escape the torture of it. Hey Hannibal, if we see a Starbucks, can we stop? I need to take a leak.
Starbucks is everywhere. Jesus Christ. Man, your eye.
What? Geez, Hannibal. Looks like you picked up a nasty eye infection. Normally for this sort of thing, we just wash it out with some clean water. But as you can see, water everywhere, but it's full of Jim Bob's poop. No worries, Doc. I'll just take care of it myself.
Good idea.
That'll be $3,000. When the now possibly wanted
Damn.
Hannibal
Didn't know he has
emerged
American
from the swamp,
bills.
they were shattered. But he had just managed to slip 50,000 men right past the Romans into rich Etrurian lands where he could replenish his supplies and his Celt allies could go crazy, securing Roman loot and booty. As fields and villages went up in flames,
That's some
one
extra
Roman
big
consul
booty.
couldn't help but notice the hot-headed Flaminius, feeling
So
it
he
was
is
his
hot-headed.
responsibility
I
to
knew
protect
it.
these lands, rather than waiting for his co-consul to come join him, immediately left to go chase Hannibal. Now, this Flaminius was an interesting character. He was what the Romans called a new man. He came from the lower plebeian classes of Roman society, and as a result, he reportedly had kind of a screw-you attitude to the establishment, and a big old arrogant chip on his shoulder. Picture Sid Vicious wearing a toga. That's Flaminius. And
Okay, then.
Hannibal, thanks to
Good
his spies,
explanation.
knew everything. Just as with Longus, Hannibal knew Flaminius was just the kind of man he could lure into a trap. Hannibal led Flaminius to the entrance of a narrow pass along the north shore of Lake Trasimene. Flaminius watched as Hannibal's army entered the pass. I've done it. I've spotted the enemy. Sir? That big follow us sign seems kind of like they're trying to lure you in. Yes,
Nah.
Gareth, and I'm taking the bait. Sir, this really seems like a trap. Yes, Gareth, and I'm falling for it. Daylight was
I am
fading,
sensing a
so for
theme
now,
here.
The Romans set up camp. The two armies encamped across the lake from one another, and night fell over the two camps. In the morning, Flaminius would catch up to Hannibal, and he would be the hero of Rome.
Okay. Well, let's see if that is really a thing. But for today's video, that's it. We're gonna be continue watching this video the next time. And don't forget to like and subscribe the video. And check out my wife's YouTube channel as well. I'll be linking it in the description again. And thanks for watching. Bye bye.